Hey everybody, and welcome to the men's locker room here at Shirk Field at Musselman Stadium. My name is Corey Jewett, Director of Athletic Communications here. And as you can tell, I have the men's lacrosse seniors here with me. We're going to be talking about the upcoming season. Joining me today are Ryan Kelly, Tommy Heller, and Andrew Garstka. Guys, thanks a lot for joining me today. I hope you're excited about the lacrosse season. I know you're excited about the lacrosse season because I am. And we're going to get right to it and answer some questions. Now, last year, great season, 19-3, second most wins in program history in a single season, ran all the way to the national semifinals. You know, obviously that season's in the past, it's in the books, it's done, but there's always something good about reflecting on the best moments and maybe even the negative moments from last season too. So for you guys, what were some big takeaways from last season you guys can utilize this year in your game planning?
Well, first of all, I think last season ended with a pretty bad taste in our mouth. We know, again, going to the Final Four, losing Salisbury at home, we've used that as a huge motivation for us all off season. Coming up into the season, obviously, we're playing them in a couple weeks. But, you know, we've just been using that because that feeling on that field, if there's a way to, like, kind of bottle that up and use that as motivation, just because all the hours that we put in and just seeing how close we were to getting to that national championship game. And so, I mean, that's just our goal right now, just using that as motivation. And especially coming from sophomore year, we had kind of a disappointing season. And then now our junior year last year was much better, and we were definitely happy to see that going.
Yeah, and that group last year had gone through some experiences like the Dickinson game, where we come back from a big deficit and rally to come back. And so it's kind of reloading from last year with filling in some spots on defense and offense and at the face-off X, where we have to gain experience, gain chemistry, and kind of move forward as a group and get ready to go.
Ryan, that's a great transition into my next question, which is about the defensive side. Obviously, you as a defensive mid, you play a lot back there with some of the long poles. And, you know, this year, it seems like some of the biggest names that we lost from last year were starters on the defensive side, talking about Cullen Minion, who was honorable mention All-America, Nick Hill, who was a multiple-year starter, and, of course, Tim Brady, who was a 4-year starter in goal. So talk about, you know, those losses and how the team's going to make up for that this year on the defensive side.
Yeah, so the biggest losses with the defense are the communication keys. And so we've got younger guys returning, such as Mitch Wyckoff in the defensive midfield, myself and Jackson Mumford. And then you've got younger guys stepping up like Tate Kinsley, Michael Risser as a senior, switching over to D-Midi, maybe playing some O-Midi too. And then also you've got guys at the long stick midfield like Eric Carr, Christian Adelise, and you've got potentially Chris Cholfi stepping in to play there too. You've got Pat Cosgrove splitting time there as well. And then kind of down low with the poles, you've got Andrew Horn stepping up, a transfer from Vermont, and PJ Detter stepping in to really take over that kind of communication role that Cullen was so great at. And so it's kind of getting comfortable in the defense and the sets we run and play against, and then kind of building that chemistry and leading to more communication. As guys get more comfortable, they'll be more willing to talk, and everyone will be on the same page, and we'll start clicking again. And then you mentioned Tim Brady. We're in the midst of a goalie battle here between Chris Crowley, the junior, and the freshman Scott McMillan, and they're both playing great, and it's going to be a tough decision for the coaches to make, but it's looking good, and everyone feels comfortable, and we're getting there. It's not something that happens overnight and in the first week of practice, but it's something that will come as we experience games and go through those tougher games, especially early on.
Yeah, as you said, it takes time. I mean, we're not even 2 weeks into practice, and we're starting out our first game coming up this weekend at Messiah. You know, turning our attention to the midfield now, obviously that's a big spot. And Andrew, we're going to go to you for this question too. So, you know, talk about how the midfield plays such an important role, how that role changes a little bit with that 20 seconds that we have to get past midfield too. And, you know, what's the most exciting for you about playing midfield?
Yeah, so the rule changes, I think, are going to add a lot of excitement to the game. You know, we got the dive back. We got a shot clock, really around 60 seconds to play possession. So that plays a big role in how our offense is going to work this season. We bring back pretty much our whole offense. You know, a lot of experienced guys are going to be there playing. And the midfield just plays a huge role. Like, our offense kind of runs through our midfield. And, you know, the shot clock is it's kind of adding an extra punch. Like, you know, we've got guys coming out of the box when subbing, and that's just going to be the total initiator of our offense. And, you know, our defensive guys like Ryan, he's played since freshman year. He's almost always the guy clearing the ball after we make a save on defense. So we've got a really experienced team clearing, and we've got guys that know what they're doing when they come on the field. So we're really excited about what we've got going on.
Perfect. Did you want to say anything from the defensive perspective, Brian?
Yeah, sure. Well, it speeds up the pace of the game, and that 60 seconds when you're on the offensive side of the field or defense for us, there's going to be more shots. It's kind of pressure-oriented. You have to know how much time is left in the shot clock to adjust your slide packages and know the situation. So I think it's definitely exciting from both an offensive and a defensive standpoint. It should make the game a lot more fun.
Yeah, Coach said something pretty profound to me in the season preview the other day. He said, you have more time than you think, but not as much time as you had, which was kind of an interesting way to look at it too. Coach Janzik, always with words of wisdom. So Tommy, switching to the offense. Obviously, we've got a power-packed offense coming back. Some of our top scorers are coming back. Guys like Brian Colin, Jack Fletcher, yourself, McCormick, up and down the line. We look pretty good on offense. So what do you have to say about the offensive game plan this year?
Well, I know that we're all really excited. Having those guys coming back, having another year under their belt, just an experience is huge for them. They're going to be big leaders on our offense, especially those attack guys. We'll see who's, going to be stepping in for now while I'm out. But, the biggest key for us offensively is going to be our communication. A lot of times, especially with the shot clock, we're talking about the game's going to be sped up. Well, when our middies come in, we need to be instantly communicating between our attack and midfield what offensive set we're running, what type of plays we're running. And that's really going to start with, Colin and Fletcher. I think I'm going to keep helping them with their communication, and the more that they can grow with that, just the better that our offense is going to be.
Of course, that final part of the field we want to talk about, that right in the middle of the field at the X with face-offs, maybe the most crucial part because it controls the possession. You can control the clock by winning those face-offs and just, resetting the offense every time. So, Ryan, looking at what we have at the face-off, Jeff is obviously graduated, Jeff Fulgione. Looking at maybe some new people in there, but some people with experience as well.
Right. So you lose Jeff Fulgione and Connor Sweeney from last year, two great seniors that we had at the face-off X. Last year we kind of double pulled it or put a short stick D-midi on the wings, and we had some great success with that. You could put a guy like Jackson or myself down in the box to guard an attackman, and we had no problem with that. But this year you've got guys like Connor Hunt stepping up and played great in the scrimmages, as well as Joey Persh. And we look to kind of keep that speed going at the face-off X, where if we do double pull, it's get the ball up, and if they got to come back, I'm in the box, and I can just step to the side and grab it and clear it, or pushing it in transition, getting our pull shooting, getting the ball to the attackman, and getting the offense going from that perspective.
I saw Connor win a face-off on Saturday and go right to goal for a score, so I know you guys like seeing that as well. I know the face-off guys love doing that, for sure. The polls have come out. Obviously, the national polls have come out. We're 6th in the national polls, and we're number 1 in Centennial Conference poll. How do you guys feel about the preseason ranking?
Yeah, I mean, preseason rankings are really cool. They give the the viewers of the sport a kind of a gauge of what to expect for games. But as we saw in Division I lacrosse this past weekend, High Point beat Duke, Towson beat Hopkins, and then Colgate beat Syracuse. So all these unranked opponents coming in and beating these ranked guys, I think that's a really good sign for us. We see that, and it just adds another layer of perspective. Knowing that there are unranked teams that are good that want to beat us. I feel like when we get a preseason ranking, it just kind of puts that initial target on our back. So that's just something we've got to be mindful of, and we've got to come out ready to play each game. Our coaches do a great job of getting us going in that aspect. We've got, I think, 8 captains this year, and we're going to be making sure our team's ready to go before every game.
That's a good segue into my next question, Andrew. Very well done. So obviously looking at the schedule, I mean, we play Salisbury, we play Stevenson, we play York, who are all nationally ranked, W&L. And then our own conference, we have F&M and Dickinson, who are both nationally ranked too. But at the same time, you can't overlook those other teams. Eastern, Widener, they're all getting better. And that gap is closing, as you noted with some of those decisions in Division I lacrosse too. And I think the same holds true at Division III. So how does that continue to just push you and motivate you, as you go into each season, as you continue to progress through the spring in your season now too?
Yeah, so like what Andrew was saying, like what we've already seen in Division I, and I think that kind of is attributed to the growth of the game. You're seeing a lot of programs, just everyone is getting better. The skill level is continually rising. And that's, again, one thing that we have to consider. We can't, just because we have the name Gettysburg on our jersey doesn't mean we can't just walk out on the field and expect the other team to roll over. Everyone's going to go out there and, they have our game marked on their schedule for a lot of teams. And they're going to come out there flying around right off the first whistle, and we have to be ready for that. And we have to play hard every single minute of the game. I think the biggest focus for us is going into a game, don't even worry about who our opponent is. Focus on what we're doing. What can we do better? How can we play our best game? And that'll just minimize any effect of, trying to belittle any opponent that we're playing.
Tommy, I think you were going to take this next question too about, what, and anybody can answer this, so not just Tommy. What are the team's ultimate goals and expectations for 2019?
Well, especially for our senior class, we've been to 2 Final Fours our freshman year and last year. And, that doesn't really mean anything. No one remembers who played in the Final Four. They just remember who that national champion is. So obviously that's a huge goal for us. I think, we don't even really have to say it in this locker room. Everyone in this locker room knows what it is, what our goal is for a national championship. But, other than that, also we only have 1 Centennial Championship as our senior class. And I think with, the amount of wins that we have and the way that we've played in the conference, it's definitely, very frustrating for us that we only have 1. So that's another thing that we are absolutely going for a goal. And also, I know, having that home field advantage in the NCAAs was awesome. Everyone loved that, and it was, obviously a big advantage. And so that's another thing that we want, just to go out there and beat those top-ranked guys in our schedule and just win as many games as we can to be, up at the top of the national rankings.
I think definitely a goal of ours this year is to focus on the little things as well, kind of drill down day to day and look at what opponent we're preparing for and get ready for that and keep growing and going in the right direction. Step forward every day, keep getting better every day. Because if you look at the overarching goal of winning a national championship and a Centennial Conference championship, it can get a bit overwhelming. That's out in May. So we kind of want to focus on the day-to-day activities, what we're doing in practice, what drill we're doing, and getting better at everything we do.
I just have one final question for you guys, and you kind of alluded to this about having the Gettysburg on your chest out there on your jersey. It's such a strong tradition of lacrosse here at Gettysburg College, going back to the days when it first started as a program in the late 50s through Middle Atlantic Conference titles in the 70s and 80s, and of course since Coach Janzik has been here for 3 decades with over 400 wins to his credit. We have 15 Centennial Conference titles, 11 appearances in the national semifinals, 3 appearances in the national title game itself. So taking stock of all that and all the All-Americans we've had here too, what's it mean to you guys to be a part of this program's tradition and history?
Yeah, so we have a banner right when we walk into our locker room. It has the number of Centennial Conference, all conference players, All-Americans, the year's championships that we've had, Final Four appearances, all records like that. And it's a lot to look at, but that's one of the great things about coming to play here is you're knowing that you're playing for a program that is built on a lot of success and continued success, and you're coming in here knowing that you want to continue that. Coming in as a freshman, it's not really that there's pressure, but knowing that the culture that we have on this team is to win and to work hard and it's our job to continue that as the players and with the help of our coaches. And we also know all the alumni that have played before us, and especially seniors, we've seen the network that they've been helping us with jobs and all summer internships or anything like that with sophomores, juniors, and us. And they've been so great that, again, playing with that G on your chest is kind of representing them too. Because I hope I know a lot of them watch. I hope as many of them as can watch and follow and come to as many games. So that's just another bonus that we have playing.
Yeah, I think a big thing that I think about is, I wear the number 30. I wonder how many other guys have come before me and worn that number. So every time I put it on game day, I just try to, play the best that I can. And I think that goes for the rest of the kids in the room. I walk around the locker room and there are, little, black labels on lockers about people who have done, memorable things. We've had people who passed away, we've had people who've donated, and, that just kind of helps us internalize, what this program is and what it means. And I just think it's, it's a really big honor to be able to play here.
Yeah, and you're playing for the guys next to you as well. We're part of the group now, and back to what Andrew said, it's about the guys who've worn the jersey before you. It's a whole kind of brotherhood mentality where we're not a family, but we're a team still. And I think this group is very special, and we have an opportunity to get something done that no other team in Gettysburg history has done, and that's win a national championship. That's our goal this year. That's what we want to do. I think we have an unbelievable chance to do it, and we're working for it.
Well, that's great, guys. Thanks for taking the time today for the season preview. I think we all learned a lot. We'll have the written preview coming out today in conjunction with the video preview. So for Ryan, Tommy, and Andrew, it's Corey Jewett. You can catch the Bullets this weekend with their season opener at Messiah College at 1 p.m., I believe, guys, right? 1 p.m. in Grantham, Pennsylvania. So thank you again, and go Bullets.